135 of the world's expert fishermen arrive for combat. They come from 27 countries to pit their skills against each other. Men against men, man against fish. It is the World Angling Championships, fishing's very own Olympics. And of all the millions who fish the waters of the world, the lochs and lakes, canals and the creeks, these are the masters of their craft.
I tell you what, how daft can you do? Right on the mud, yeah? You could have put us on the dry ground.
This is amateur sport done the professional way. This contest isn't about images of slumbering summers dangling a stick and a hook in some idyllic waters. It's not about tall tales in the pub about the one that got away. This is the real thing, the big time. Today's champions use carbon rods worth more than £2,000 each, have the team manager on their shoulders whispering orders, and runners roaming the banks with two-way radios. There's no prize money, just the honour of being proclaimed world champion team and world champion angler. Talking of champions, the holders England are the favourites, with Bobby Nudd from Essex going for his third title in a row, a feat unparalleled in modern angling. Snapping at England's heels will be the Italian aristocrats, people like hawk-eyed Roberto Trabucco, second twice but yet to capture that elusive individual gold medal. France are packed with experience and are determined to snatch back the crown which England captured in Hungary last year. Australia may struggle in these European conditions, but they have 21-year-old Dave Weston, who grew up down under but is back living in the Midlands. The home team, Ireland, could be the dark horses. They know the venue better than anyone and will be hard to beat. Sechi World Championships is being held in Yates country, the lakelands of County Fermanagh in Northern Ireland. The venue, Loch Earn, near the border town of Beleg, famous for its pottery and its fishing. The area is an angling paradise where legends are made and the wildest dreams fulfilled. They say if there were any more fish in the Fermanagh lakelands, there wouldn't be room for the water. Here, even the herons belong to Weight Watchers. Tens of thousands of pleasure anglers go to Ireland every year to sample the delights of dense shoals and bulging keep nets. As the Northern Ireland Tourist Board boasts in their adverts, every water acre is teeming with biting, fighting specimen fish. This party of holidaymakers from Stockport are fishing the same waters as the professionals, but at the opposite end of the Earn system.
Well, we've been here about an hour. 2 bream and about 30 odd roach. Let's have 10 bream, half a dozen roach. I'll go everywhere and without a doubt this is the best. Every day we've caught plenty.
This is worth it despite the weather, is it?
Yeah, the weather's no problem. In fact, we was a little bit worried this morning when we left home. The sun was shining and it was flat calm.
It might well be all right for the pleasure seekers, but not for the competitors who, because of the size of the field, must fish the other end of the Loch Earn system. Here, conditions aren't so good. So, hopes of a dream catch lay somewhere over that rainbow. Also, the high summer rainfall that anyone can remember nearly washed the event away. It was only saved by a noble act of cooperation by the Republic of Ireland, who drew off thousands of litres of water at Ballyshannon Power Station a few miles downstream. So while the competitors have been toiling during practice, the pleasure anglers further up the system are still pulling them in, watched enviously by former champion Ian Heaps.
Yeah, that's a lovely bream, Steve. Those are the ones that the lads have been looking for in the championship.
What's the best way to catch bream then?
Well, bream, unlike the roach, where a roach will have the bait trickling through, the bream want the bait nailed to the bottom. And one of the dangerous teams is going to be the Italians, because they fish what they call the Bolognese method. It comes from the area of Bologna, where they fish the River Po, with the Bolognese style. There's a float like that probably takes about 14 or 20 grams. That's the sort of weight that that float takes. And they fish with long rods, something like 20-foot long rods, because the water is 18 foot deep, and they fish a fixed depth with all this weight down in the bottom quarters. And with a long rod, they can hold the rod up in the air, and if they get the conditions like this is today, prevailing wind, upstream wind, it creates a bow in the line, they can actually hold the float back and send it through at a very slow down rate. And that's what bream like. If you could give him with a still bait, which is ledgering, which isn't allowed in the World Championship, then the next best thing would probably be with this method.
And what tactics would England be using, do you think?
I think the England team will be fishing the bottom end sliding float. Once again, it's got to be a sliding float because of the depth of water. You're talking about 18 foot of water. And they'll be using the bottom end slider, which will cover most weather conditions, most winds, but it doesn't give you the ability to slow the bait down the same. Another one of the rules is that you mustn't have any weight on the bottom. In England, match fishing, you're allowed to drag weights on the bottom, but in this competition, no weight on the bottom. So you've got to really just allow the float to run through. It does catch bream, but they generally like a much stiller bait.
The Welsh have been trying both methods and seeming good spirits after their final day's practice. That is if you believe their manager, Mr. Hornblow.
What sort of day?
Well, to be truthful, we've all caught fish, but we didn't want to tell anybody. So we've had quite a good day today.
I think we've got a very good chance. What do you think, Captain?
What's this about the secret float that you've pioneered then?
Yes.
Well, we call it a Russian torpedo float. And Clive's got it, and he should show it to you now. It's built like an Exet missile. An Exocet missile, that's it, yeah. And we can just...
The only problem is you need a gun or a bow and arrow to get it over the other side.
Can we take one? Have we got one? Yes. Where's Clive's box? Oh, it's looking a bit naughty.
All right. It's in there.
Pull that down. Just a second, lads.
We're just going to show our secret weapon. We made a couple up. We made a couple up with flights on. This is the boy. This is the one. Da-dum, 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 da-dum.
There it is.
Yeah, see, aerodynamically shaped like a torpedo. 20 grams. It's actually got a twin set of flights for the aerodynamics, and when it flies through the air, sings. Travels some miles. Only trouble is, I haven't caught a fish on it yet.
At the England camp, they are preparing their tackle like surgeons about to go into the operating theatre. Reserve Mark Downs needs to save his energy. He'll be running up and down the river bank tomorrow.
Steve, if you want... Steve, I'll put your ground bait in one of your big buckets out there. It's 2 river, 2 bream, 1 PV1. You don't have to use a bream if you don't want it. And there's one of them French rivers.
They've got their own jargon, these lads.
All right.
There's still time for Doncaster's Tom Pickering to pick up a tip or two.
Tackle.
Outside, Steve Gardner and Bobby Nudd are seeking
See,
perfection.
with this method of sliding a float, very, very easy to get tangles. And when you're fishing for 3 hours, you know, one tangle, one muck up, and you've got crowds watching you and you're trying to unravel the hook. It's so important to have everything 100% perfect with casting. You probably think, oh, well, you just slide it and it's okay, but it doesn't happen that way. When you've got line, you've got shots and everything that can tangle. You just mustn't have that. And this is what we've been working at, perfection for 3 hours. Make sure your bait's in the water for all the time, and that's what we're after.
The longer our bait's down there on the bottom where the fish are, the more chance we've got of catching a fish. And as you know, that's what's going to be tomorrow.
So
8 fish.
efficiency, we've got to be more efficient than any other team. And then I think we'll probably have a good chance of winning it.
Unlike some sports, Ireland's fishing squad comes from both sides of the border. But somebody has to be left out. The manager hates it.
It's the hardest decision of all. and having to sit there and look at a guy straight in the I'm sorry, you've put all this work in, you've worked as hard as everybody else, but you're not quite up to the same standard as everybody else, and you're not fishing tomorrow. That is, I mean, it's the killer. Right, the one job I don't like doing, telling a man who's not fishing tomorrow. And the reason I made the decision, I think, is not on his angling ability or anything else. It's just purely and simply, I think, on a little bit of lack of experience. I'm sorry, Keith, it's you.
You could bring him in on Sunday if need be as well.
If, I think you all got the letter originally, I said that this is the first day team only. So everybody is definitely fishing for the place on the second day. Okay. Got a good chance of winning. In fact, I think we've got a better than good chance of winning. And if we can't do it here...
Well, it's not so much somebody's got to be dropped. Somebody just has to take a step aside to let the R5 guys go ahead, but it happens. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to be the floor guy. Unfortunately, it's me.
This is the 39th World Freshwater Angling Championships. You'd have thought by now they'd have sorted the rules. On the eve of the championships, the captains still decide exactly when a fish is deemed to be caught.
Habe ich jetzt richtig verstanden? Der Fisch muss in Unterfänger drinnen sein und der Unterfänger kann aber noch im Wasser sein.
Nein.
And then there's confusion over exactly how they'll draw for pegs tomorrow morning.
Man, you do one man.
No,
Yes, that's
no, no,
they do.
no, that is not in the rules, that. There should be 5 free draws.
Normally, yes.
Normally, that is the rules
Yes.
for all the championships I've been on. And everyone is objecting here. Seriously, everyone is objecting to this method. That's why the Belgian captain has given me this ticket.
If you think they had problems, try organising the main parade. He's actually trying to find England. Hold your stick straight, lad.
Lemon Germany, good, thank you. Ireland, please, to the front.
Hold on, it's alphabetical order, is it?
No. Where is England? Maria, Czechoslovakia, where are you? Stay there. England, number 8, up there. Number 20, San Marino. Number 20, San Marino. From San Marino.
Come in, San Marino. Your time's up. Well done, sir. Mind you, I don't like the look of that any skill in sky. The parade of the competitors is part of the tradition. All the locals mucked in, but somebody up there doesn't like them. But they're a hardy lot, these fishermen. A bit of rain didn't hurt anyone. Ah, that's where England are, under the umbrella. The championships are tomorrow, but there's plenty of opportunity to let your hair down. The anglers are scattered across hotels and guest houses dotted around the 50-mile Loch Earn system. They're no doubt tucked up in bed, having sorted out their tackle for the morning. It's September the 5th, the morning of the match, and the English bait has arrived.
Them just casters, look, they're lovely, they. I could eat them myself. I just hope them fish obliged to them. But, no, it's not blood.
He could almost be champion chef.
It takes a little while. It has to be left just to dry out a bit.
Mind you, the eggs look a bit off.
As you know, we've got maggots, we've got casters, we've got worms, we've got bloodworm, we've got joker. We've got everything to cover every eventuality. And there's not a bait we've overlooked
So if we need anything of any description, then we've got something to cover it. Kevin, you need some of this blood. Is some of this yours, Kevin? It's Joker.
I've got Joker.
Right.
Well, we've got some nice red maggots that's just come out of the fridge. They're not moving about so much, but that's what we wanted. In another hour or so there will be. But those are nice red. 2 of them on a 14 will be lovely. But now we've got some whites. Keep changing the baits. And that's what you've got to do, keep changing the baits, put a red on, put a white on, put a worm on, and keep the faces. So quite looking forward to it, to be honest with you, strange sort of way, you know.
Alan.
The all-important draw for pegs to decide who fishes where.
16.
16 is no good for Ireland. Most teams are praying for a low number. So what do the Italians get?
Italy. One.
Well, that's not where we're out.
The England team have drawn 18.
Well, it's not bad. It's just a bit high for you.
Yeah,
yours
that's
is
what
the
I'm
only.
saying.
Yours is probably the worst of those.
Poland above
The rest of them are pretty good.
Was his rivals? Oh. I've not got to listen to him all day, have I? Because I know he's a real pain, that bloke. As soon as smack him in gob and talk to him.
That's where the Italians caught, yeah, I think so. I think they caught an 18 or 19 bet fish move, that's what you can't tell. But yeah. Should be.
I'm not where I fished with Dave Harold in. You know where I fished the other day? We're bobbing up, when Bob had the 2 bream afterwards, I'm above that.
Yeah. Steve, did you take any white maggot out of the fridge?
The preparations are over, the bait is primed, the tackle is packed. Championships, here we come. But at the venue, there's trouble brewing.
See, the Italians have started already.
What's gone off?
They've brought the kit down in their press cars, trying to steal a march on everybody else, and they've been told and told and told it was never going to be allowed. The tackle had to come down on the cars. Yeah, on the coaches, I should say, instead of the way they brought them down in the cars. What they're expecting now is all these helpers to run down the bank and carry the tackle for their competitors and everything else and steal maybe a little bit of an advantage, because all these rods are pre-made up. So all they've got to do is just literally just assemble them and the tackle's there, ready, set. We
So
knew
what have
they
you
were,
told them then?
told them no tackle through the gates if it doesn't come on the coach.
So the coach has got to stop, they've got to put the tackle on the coach.
Well, that's if the coaches will stop for them, but if the coaches don't stop and that coach goes on down there, that tackle can't go through the gate. Hasn't come here legally.
Does that mean they won't be able to fish?
It means they're going to be maybe tackle short. They'll have tackle with them, but it means they're going to be tackle short. And there's going to be a whole rumpus.
Das war nicht gut, Ian.
The word among the pastmasters is that the incident could lead to a walkout.
In fact, Dave Taylor sticks to the rules and doesn't allow that kit to go in, only on the bus. Then the Italians, well, they just won't be able to fish. In fact, they'd walk out. They'd just say, because they've got away with it so many times in the past, they'd say, why can't we get away with it again? And Dave Taylor, I'm sure he's going to be adamant. I'm sure he's not going to let them take the kit through. They should have taken it on the bus, but they always want that little, just one step ahead, the little advantage, and he's going to stop it. He's going to nail them. And I think they'll just say, that's it, we're not fishing.
East Action, Stuart!
The bus arrives, but it doesn't stop to pick up the offending kit. The tackle belongs to Milo Colombo, Supremo of the Italian team. This is him, under the watchful eye of the committee. His name is on rods in shops all over Europe.
A lot of objection because of driving in press cars, etc.
I charge half of my staff, but not all was in. So they say tomorrow they use 2 buses for every section. There is no space enough on the bus. Thank you.
The organisers are guarding the gates. Will they let Milo in?
Gentlemen on the bus. Yeah, it's nothing to do there. I put Apple staff on the bus. Mr. Pinza said tomorrow we will bring 2 buses for every section. There was no space enough.
In the end, they accepted his explanation that there wasn't room on the bus for his tackle. A shot across the bows. In Britain, unlike the continent, angling as a spectator sport is a dead fish. They say there are 4 million anglers in the British Isles, but only a few have turned up here. There are no ticket touts or corporate hospitality tents, just a bar and, of course, the fishing tackle marquee. Scintillating action there might not be, but you could cut the tension with a fish knife. Like greyhounds waiting to enter the trap, the anglers survey their territory. Some like it, some don't.
No man's land, these two boats here, and if you take a line across to the far bank, it actually comes on the S in census or the E in census. If you go to your other end and take a line across there, it comes to the same place. So in actual fact, you're like a wedge.
A little disappointed with my draw. I don't know this section very well, but I do know that the favoured pegs were somewhere. There's a ledge and it's a very smooth bottom, and that's somewhere between 15 and 25. So I was hoping to be there, but you never know. The fish may not be there. They might be right here today if I'm lucky.
There's a lot of weed in front of me on about 5 to 10 metres. And if you catch a fish, you've got to really get it over that weed.
The buzzer goes, allowing the anglers to enter their zone. They have 90 minutes to prepare before the start at noon. From now on, they're alone. After testing the patience of the organisers, Milo tests the depth of his peg. Ian Heaps knows what they're going through. Heaps knows what they're going through.
Well, they know now. It's entirely up to them. They're in their own little box there, their own little territory. And what they've got to now concentrate on is just catching the fish. You'll watch them and they'll be looking where to place the ground bait. Most of them have gone to the upstream end of their swim, so they can trot their float the full length of the swim. They'll be looking for far bank markers because there will be an initial bombardment of ground bait, and they'll be aiming for one of the shadows on the far bank where they know that ground bait has landed, and they'll be able to cover that continually for the 3-hour duration of the match.
5 to 12. They have 5 minutes to lay the ground bait. The bombardment of Balik is about to begin as cannonballs of biscuit hit the water. High noon and the competition begins. The food's been spiked. It's now a banquet of barbed wire. The course is the same distance as the Derby, 1.5 miles long. The field is divided into 5 sections, each section in separate competition. The man with the heaviest net wins and gets 1 point. If you come second, you get 2. The winners are the team with the lowest points total at the end of 2 days. Will the conditions favour the English sliding float or the Italian Bolognese method? The next 3 hours will tell. 4 minutes and 4 seconds into the match, and the first fish is caught by the young Australian Dave Weston in Section D, who's using the slider. Then his teammate Sellers, a mile away in Section A, lands one. An angler knows by instinct when he hooks a bream. The heart flutters and the palms sweat. They know that the Eurasian freshwater cyprinid fish of the genus Abramis brahms, that's a bream by the way, are big wares and the passport to gold.
all shaking here. Shaking with excitement.
Yep. Do you know how heavy?
About 3, maybe 3 pounds. I'm not used to catching all this bream, you see, because we're from Australia, you know. First one I've had for a few years.
But generally, it's hard going for the 135 contestants. In the first 20 minutes, only a net full of fish have been caught. Ian Heaps, now only a spectator, once broke the world record on Loch Earn. 723 fish in 5 hours.
It's pretty grim, right? I would have expected an early burst of fish, but I fear for the worst now. I think there's going to be an awful lot of dry nets, even at the end of 3 hours.
The home skipper echoes Ian's fears.
Fishing's proved to be a bit harder than what we thought it was going to be. Odd fish only. And at nearly 20 to 1, I'm starting to panic because none of my team have caught a fish yet. But I gather that a lot of other teams are in the same boat, so there's 2 hours, 20 minutes to go yet. So I'm on my way.
Suddenly, a shoal of bream moves through the field. If you're lucky, they feed at your peg. Show moves off, it's clear that the Italians have the edge. Guicciardi alone has caught 5 after 2 hours.
Ok, ricevuto. Is the Bolognese method paying dividends, getting good results?
Well, I hope.
Yeah. Good conditions for Bolognese.
The best. There is another one. If you want to take pictures now.
The Italians' own scorecard shows them wiping the floor with England, who have yet to catch a fish. But then, an English bite. Can Tom Pickering break England's duck? Teammate Kevin Ashurst sums up England's plight.
I've just had one bite, one roach. One more than Bob. Well, you can't do anything. It's just... Trouble is, the fish here, they aren't very hard to catch, so anybody just throw in, they just go down and they can catch a fish or two. It seems to be all over now. No, I've not seen a fish catch for 30 minutes, so... And this is how it's gone in practice. If you didn't get them at the start, you had a job to get them. I think the only chance of catching a fish now is a bream. Hopefully, I can just get one.
Dennis White's not very happy either.
All these fish in Ireland and we sit here and can't get a bite. Can't believe it. Best fishing in Europe and the worst part of it.
Bobby Nudd's scorecard says it all, no fish.
And then the Italian Sea one has got 3 bream. He's first or second. And every time somebody with a walkie-talkie goes past Trabuco, he's got a bream on. So he's got at least 3 or 4 bream Trabuco.
Ah, Trabuco, the master angler. What makes him so good?
He's one of the top Italian fishermen. He's been around an awful long time. He's making full use of this bolognese method with this wind, where he's holding the rod high in the air and getting that bow in the line, slowing the turtle down. And like I said, these bream want that really slowed down bait. And this method really helps him to do that. First class fisherman.
With the minutes ticking by, half the field, 69 nets are dry. In such a barren contest, anglers seem desperate to catch anything. Erlandsson of Sweden is fishing near the bank for tiddlers to get something in the net. Like so many, Bobby Nudd can only sit and hope and listen to the distant Italian cheers. The buzzer goes for the end of day one. For Nudd, a blank. It's like Steve Davis failing to put a ball at snooker.
We thought it'd be difficult, and it was. It was. Doubly difficult, wasn't it?
How about Dennis?
And I maintain that a fish that can swim can be caught. So, I fished a tiny, tiny bait, the head of a pinky. I hooked the pinky on this minute hook, I'll show you this hook, and then cut it off with the scissors, right at the tip of the head. And I've dropped the float into this shoal of fry I could see, and I managed to catch one. And that's given me, I think, 11 points instead of 28.
So can we look at this monster?
Well, I had to play it.
How long?
I had it in the net within 4 to 5 minutes. But that's the fish. That's this year's fry. So it's about, I would think, 3 months old.
And that's how many points?
Well, I think there's 10 dry nets, so I get 11 points. Oh, sorry, I think there's 10 caught, so I get 11 points. If I hadn't have caught that tiny fish, I would have a 28 points. But it's valuable to the side. I hope we can come better tomorrow.
Contrast that with the German Richter, whose jumping catch of 11 kilos seems set to win his section if he can top Trabuco.
9 kilos, 320 grams.
Okay.
932, Trabuco is second. But the surprise here is the success of Carver of the Channel Islands. More used to fishing reservoirs than rivers, 9 kilos puts the Channel Islands team in 3rd place overall.
Certainly out of this world, isn't it? I mean, you've heard the expression, it's what dreams are made in. I mean, I've been fishing since I was that big. And, you know, something else, huh?
The Italians' walkie-talkie spies confirm what most already know. They lead the competition by 11 points from France. England are 4th. The American Till is one of the 5 joint leaders, but none of his teammates had a bite. They are well down the field. Ireland's Paul McBride's card summed up the home side's first day performance.
Hello, Paul.
I think the
The overall catch has been so low that Dennis White's fry, which doesn't even register on the scales, puts England in 4th place. It could be worth its weight in gold. The morning after, the day before, the captains gather for the crucial draw for the last day's pegs. Most teams still prefer a low draw. England draw 14, bang in the middle of the field. Manager Dick Clegg doesn't like it.
Dickie, you've been drawn 40.
Too high. Good for you now. We need to leave 26. It's very difficult. Very difficult now. 14's not a very good area from yesterday. The good thing is that the Italians have drawn peg 26, which is probably even worse. And it would have given the chance of a team that was in reasonable contention to be able to win. And I think that if the French draw a good peg, it's going to be difficult now.
Let's see what the French draw. Remember, they want a low number.
25.
What a turn up. The two leaders, France and Italy, drawn side by side at pegs 25 and 26. While the Italians reflect on the battle ahead, the French express their feelings.
Ouais. C'est terrible quand un championnat se joue uniquement sur un tirage aussi.
But the draw has thrown the competition wide open. One of the joint leaders, Mike Till of America, has his own description.
And this has turned out to be almost a Hollywood script with England and Italy and France and Hungary drawing the bad areas. There's always a possibility the fish could move, but this is what makes this sport great, and it makes it exciting because at any time anything could happen. And I'd like to be on the bank watching today with you because I think it'll be a great match.
Not today, he wouldn't. Conditions resemble a car wash, very wet and very windy. This angler's not trying to commit suicide because of the weather, merely testing the depth of his peg. But tensions are getting the better of some. Wales accusing the American Till of encroaching.
He can't bring his rods in my section. What? He can't bring his rods over in my section. His rods aren't allowed to come over in my section here. Right. His rods aren't allowed to come over.
Right, yeah.
You can cast. No. Because I can't fish in your section.
No, your rods can't come over my section. You've got to keep your rod all the top, mate. That's why everybody goes further back than where you're sitting, because that's the first. All the teams always sit further back, otherwise you get disqualified easy.
That's because Scottish fellow didn't complain.
What's that, sorry?
No, Carl said yesterday the Italian was doing it.
No, the Italian...
The Scottish guy didn't complain yesterday.
No, well, I've got to be honest with you, like, I'm under instructions from my team
well,
manager.
If they disqualify me, they disqualify me. I don't mind. This is a sport, and if they want to go that far, they can. I don't mind. I'm here to enjoy myself. I don't need any bullshit.
Strong language not understood by the Croatian Mr. Heskey, one of the 5 joint leaders from yesterday. His tackle is just the bare essentials. Can he pull off the most amazing fishing story of all?
No. Are you confident of winning?
Croatia. No?
Croatia, yeah.
Yeah.
How is the fishing? Good?
Yes, good. First.
You?
Yeah.
You were first?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
You could be world champion.
Yeah. Bob Nude.
How about that? His hero's Bob Nudd.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. Good luck.
At last, the final day's underway, but it's a slow start again. The signs are that there'll be even fewer fish than yesterday. First strike goes to Novacek of Poland. Can he land this useful-looking bream? One in the bag for Amorim of Portugal. For Mike Till, more trouble. Attention from the marshals for straying outside his peg.
If he does get the bream going and a crowd gathers for him, you know, the crib if he goes outside that area, you know, especially with him being an end peg and he's going for the championship, so it's better off that he's within that area now, you know. Okay.
His main rival in the section, England's Tom Pickering, is also fishless. But how come? Why are the fish staying away? Expert Ian Heaps knows the psychology of bream.
Bream are very much a shoal fish. In fact, if you liken them to sheep, that's exactly what they're like. They just all move together in a shoal. And they'll just search for food, and suddenly they'll turn round, and they'll come back again, and go down the river maybe another 100 metres, turn again. And usually the people on the turning points, they get 2 bites at the cherry. Sometimes they'll stop on your feed, and then you're in for a big wait. But just like sheep as well, if you spook one of them, like hook one and it comes off and it darts away, quite often the whole shoal can move off with it.
Halfway through the last day, and the Australian Dave Wesson, who can't even make his club team locally, lands his 16th fish of the competition. He's way out in front of his section and, barring a last-minute search from his main rivals, looks to be heading for gold. There's no waltzing Matilda from England's team manager.
Situation is still grim. It's like yesterday. We've got 3 people caught a fish, and I'm going to need 4 or 5 anglers to catch, and then we could probably win it. But the Italians and the French are too far in front from yesterday. French, I think, have got 4 people. I mean, it's talking about 4 people catching fish out of probably some of the best 5 anglers in the world. So, you can tell how hard this venue has been. Okay, right.
How's it going from your end?
From our point of view, we're laying, I think, joint first with France. So,
I've heard since that left 4 weighers.
For Italy got 4 weighers, France got 4 weighers, we've got 4 weighers now. So it's pretty tight now.
If only they had fished better yesterday. The French, in second place after yesterday, are going great guns, as Monsieur Desk testifies.
Today I'm very lucky because in the first 20 minutes I have a bite, catch beautiful bream 2 pound, and I think in his bag it's no bad because yesterday all is blank. The 7 last peg is blank, and very lucky with 1 fish. I think it's a very good result for the team.
But it's Guicciardi, the Italian, fishing a few yards along, who's catching the eye. His scorecard says it all. 9 fish. He'll walk away with his section. All the anglers from Italy and France have caught, except for these 2, fishing side by side in Section C. There is only 15 minutes left, and if any of these 2 catch, their team is sure to be world champions. For Australia's Dave Wesson, it's becoming unbearable. People keep telling him he's out in front.
Just want 1 more. I think if I get 1 more, I'll be home.
A few minutes left for either Perro of France or Colombo of Italy to snatch the glory for their country. The French manager can hardly bear to watch. They are fishing in the graveyard. Only 8 of the 27 anglers in this section have caught, and both Italy and France still have dry nets. Oh, for the last gasp bite. Wesson waits for the hooter. He's seconds away from being world champion. He'll be the youngest ever holder of the title. Colombo and Perro, no joy.
Without building your hopes up, if I got to put a mortgage on it, I think you've won the World Championship.
Bloody ripper. Good on the kid.
Look, he gave me cold shivers, mate. Don't say that when the camera's moving anyway. Yes. Great.
As Wesson parades his gold medal catch, the question is, who's won the team gold?
Ok, attendo.
La prima notizia che già fa il nono e Claudio fa il primo, chiaramente.
8 punti.
Numero 6.
While the Italians do their sums, England can only bemoan the fish that never came.
No, not officially, of course. It's too early.
You'll know.
Well, I know that we haven't won it, and that's all I'm bothered about. But we're probably 4th or 5th at best. 4th, I think.
Too many blanks. If there's not enough fish, there's nothing you can do. It's just one of those things.
9 kilos, 620 grams.
The Italian Guicciardi weighs in with some more whoppers to take the individual silver. Is it enough for his team?
17, 40, 56. Allora c'è 66. Il primo, 90. Allora signori, siamo campioni del mondo. 94 noi, 97 la Francia.
When the scales had settled, the Italians had beaten France by just 3 points. Bolognese supreme. The Channel Islands, who don't even have a river to fish on at home, took the bronze. England were only 5 points away from the medals, despite second-day blanks from former world champions Ashurst and Pickering. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild. These waters of Loch Earn have served up a fishing conundrum that makes the sport so fascinating. Belize 1992 will be remembered for its friendliness, hospitality and blank nets. 42 of the 135 anglers had sat for 6 hours in wind and rain in one of the world's prime fishing locations and hadn't got a bite. This is in complete contrast to the pleasure anglers whose memories are of topping fish and bulging nets. If you ask these lads, the experts must have got it wrong.
We cross the pond next for the play action from American football.